Karoline Leavitt stood on the Hannity stage at Fox News, the spotlight illuminating the deep blue suit of the 27-year-old White House press secretary, her heart pounding before the high-stakes showdown. Just minutes earlier, Niro had stepped out declaring, "Trump is a disaster and Leavitt is his puppet." The brief but sharp attack sent the crowd into a frenzy, applause mixing with whistles ringing out. Leavitt, gripping the microphone tightly, her eyes blazing, didn't flinch before the millions watching. Niro, with 2 Oscars and a new empire, was confident he'd overpower this young MAGA woman. But Leavitt, armed with her Catholic faith and unwavering loyalty to Trump, saw this as her chance to prove him wrong for calling her a puppet. She stepped into the light, ready to turn the stage into her battlefield. This wasn't just a debate. It was Leavitt's moment to flip the script and steal the spotlight from Niro. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. The studio glowed with bright lights, the audience falling silent as Robert Niro stood center stage, his black suit hugging his frame, his gaze as cold and sharp as the Vito Corleone he once portrayed. The camera panned slowly, scattered applause rising from the liberal corner as Sean Hannity introduced. Hollywood legend never afraid to speak his mind, Robert Niro. He nodded slightly, grabbed the mic, and wasted no time landing his first blow. "I'm here to say one thing," he began, his deep voice resonating. "Donald Trump is the biggest disaster America has ever seen, and Karoline Leavitt, the Gen Z kid, is his newest puppet, a mouthpiece who knows nothing beyond reading the scripts Trump shoves in her hands." The crowd erupted, MAGA supporters whistling in protest, liberals clapping wildly, the studio air instantly heating up like a furnace. Niro leaned forward, his left hand raised like a seasoned stage actor, his eyes sweeping the audience. "You think I'm kidding?" he smirked, his thick New York accent from Little Italy days cutting through. "I've seen guys like Trump, con men, all flash and no substance. I've played gangsters in movies, but Trump's the real gangster. And Leavitt? She's a childish lackey. She's 27, hasn't lived enough to know what's going on, and she dares stand before the nation as a spokesperson for a clown." Laughter roared from the liberal side, a few people holding up phones to record, knowing this line would soon spread online. He didn't stop. Niro stepped to the side, pointing straight at the camera as if addressing Leavitt backstage. "She's the youngest press secretary in history, right? Sounds nice. But what's she done besides cover for Trump? Look at the signal leak. She let the world see Trump's plans by adding a reporter to the chat by mistake. I don't know if she's incompetent or intentional, but if that's how she represents the American people, we're in big trouble." The audience howled with laughter, someone shouting, "Right on, Bobby." Niro shrugged, a smirk curling his lips as if he just delivered a knockout punch effortlessly. Sean Hannity tried to cut in. "Bob, she's coming out to face you right now. What do you think?" But Niro interrupted instantly, his voice sharper than ever. "Face me? I'd love that. I want to see her explain how she justifies being Trump's puppet, a guy I've called a danger for years." I stood outside his courthouse, told the crowd to their faces he's unfit to lead. And now he's back with a Gen Z kid as his megaphone? It's shameful. He waved a dismissive hand, the audience splitting, half cheering, half booing loudly. Niro paced the stage, his voice dropping low, dripping with drama like his Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. "You know I'm not just talking for fun. I've seen America through decades. I grew up on real streets, not fake mansions like Trump. I make movies. I built new. I live real. Trump, he just destroys. And Leavitt? She's a young face he uses to fool people. Like, look, I'm modern. But she's not fooling me. She's got Catholic faith, prays every day, fine. But if she's praying to cover for Trump, even God can't save her." Laughter erupted again, louder this time, a few standing clap. He paused, turning toward backstage where Leavitt waited. "Karoline, I know you hear me," he said, his tone brimming with challenge. "You tweet you're not afraid of anyone, that you'll defend Trump at all costs. So come out here. I want to hear you. No edits, no scripts, just the truth. But I'll warn you, I don't go easy. I've fought bigger than you my whole life, from film sets to politics, and I've never lost." He pointed straight at the wings, the crowd roaring with applause, the tension thick as a taut string. Niro sat down, tapping the table lightly, a smug grin plastered on his face. She wants to be Trump's mouthpiece? Fine, but don't expect me to stay quiet when she steps out. I'm here to expose Trump, Leavitt, the whole crew. This isn't a movie, it's real, and I'll show the country how she falls. He winked at Hannity, who laughed loudly. Karoline, you hear that? He's ready. The crowd cheered, phones raised high, all eyes locked on the wings where Leavitt prepared to emerge. Backstage, Karoline Leavitt stood behind the curtain, the stage lights casting a faint glow on her face. Niro's words echoed, Gen Z puppet, clueless kid, each one a dagger. But she didn't tremble. Her deep blue suit hugged her frame, blonde hair tied back neatly, fists clenched, eyes ablaze. This was Fox News turf, where she'd appeared on Fox and Friends. And she wouldn't let Niro win. She turned to her assistant, voice sharp. Where's that old Niro clip? The assistant held up an iPad. Here, he praised Obama in 2016. Contradicts him now. Leavitt smirked. Good. Send it to production. I want on screen when I go out. The stage lights hit Karoline Leavitt at full force as she emerged from backstage, her high heels clicking loudly on the floor, the deep blue suit accentuating her petite but determined frame. The ad break music faded, and Sean Hannity stood, raising a hand to introduce, and here's Karoline Leavitt, White House press secretary, ready to face Robert Niro. The crowd exploded, MAGA supporters clapping thunderously, liberals whistling in mockery. Leavitt nodded slightly to Hannity, her gaze sweeping the room before locking on Niro. He sat there, arms crossed, smirk still intact, as if waiting to watch this 27-year-old crumble under his earlier assault. But Leavitt hadn't come to lose. She'd come to destroy. She gripped the mic, standing tall, her voice ringing clear across the studio. Mr. Niro, I heard everything you just said. Gen Z puppet? Clueless kid? You think you can stand there with your 2 Oscars in Goodfellas voice and humiliate me and President Trump in front of the nation? You're wrong. The room fell silent for a moment, stunned by her confidence. Niro raised an eyebrow, smirking, but Leavitt gave him no chance to interrupt. You call Trump a gangster, me a childish lackey. But have you looked at yourself? A Hollywood legend living in luxury off new hospitality, starring in flops like The Alto Nights. And you dare talk about failure? You've made millions playing tough guys, but in real life, you're just an out-of-touch relic who doesn't get the American people. Applause broke out from the MAGA side, a few standing to cheer. Leavitt stepped closer to the table, her eyes locked on Niro. You mocked me over the signal leak. Fine, I didn't run that chat. But what do you know about accountability? Mr. Niro,